Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Julian Ferrer. Welcome to the sixth NIT presentation. And yes, I said number 6. And that number is very important to me because every year we do this presentation in class first. And every year I am amazed by what you guys have in your heads. It's amazing how you guys have lived 13, 14, 15, 16 years. And you've experienced so much. And that's one of my inspirations for this project. Because of what you guys talk to me about in class, because of the presentations that you share, you guys have so much information in your head that we have to share with more people. The presentation is called Starts With You. And this is what I try to do in our classes. The idea of you helping yourself so we can help others. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It's about us as a community. It's us as neighbors, as friends, as colleagues, even as strangers. It's amazing how if everybody helps somebody else, this world would be a better place. So, I want to talk a little bit about the inspiration for this project. And I already told you one. One is you guys. Number 2, there was a book that I read a long time ago. It's called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And that's the book that taught me that we all have habits that help us become effective and successful. The second one was TED Talks. And now I did not say TikTok like everybody thinks I do the first time I say it. But TED Talks. TED Talks is a platform where people usually do their presentations and have something to share. And I was inspired by the fact that so many people were sharing things. The third is this guy named Simon Sinek. And he's the one that taught me about why. Why we do what we do. It's not just the fact of doing it. It's not just the fact of the riches and the success, but why we do what we do. Without the why, we're lost. And this is what I want you guys to find. And this is what I'm hoping that the students that are going to present today will help you achieve. So you can start, for those that don't have your whys yet, can start looking for your whys. Because once you find your why, you'll find your direction. And no matter which way the current goes, you will find your direction. It's amazing how once you find your base, everything else falls into place. The last thing I want to say, and I want to repeat this over and over again throughout this presentation, is we have to help each other. We have to be there for each other. We're going to hear repeatedly, and you're going to continue to hear repeatedly, there's about 8 billion people in the world. We got to help each other. Whether we're talking about the weather, we're talking about successes, or we're talking about whatever it is that we're talking about, we got to help each other. And this is why this project is so important to me. It's not about how wealthy I get. It's how I can share what you got and make you successful. Because my success, I feel like I'm very successful, and this project being one of them. I want you guys to feel that same joy that I feel. And if we can find a way so that, well, everybody's heard of the word failure now, right? Everybody knows failure now, right? Yes, easy to say. It's a very popular term these days. And they say, it's good to fail. It's good to fail because that's when you learn, right? Well, guess what? If I failed, and I can help you not fail the same way, that's what I want you to do. Imagine I'm walking down the forest, and I trip over a rock. It hurt. I land on my knees. I scrape myself. I'm bleeding on my knees. But I keep walking because I got up. That's what they tell us to do, right? You fail, you get up, and you keep moving. You keep moving forward. But if I see you coming towards me and you're going down the same path, it's up to me to tell you, hey, there's a rock in the way. Be careful so that you don't trip on the same rock. And that's what these students that are going to present for you today are going to share with you, so that you don't trip on the same rock. So without any further delay, please welcome Miss Laura Mermans.
When I was younger, I used to cry a lot over things that had no meaning to cry about. Among these was insecurity of doing well on an exam or that a friend would stop being my friend. The thought that a person as important as a friend would leave my side broke me down. As for the exams, I always had to study next to my father and tell him the entire syllabus before the day of the exams. Many people who have known me for many years know that I have always been a very happy person and that this didn't make me change. But when I felt this way, I got the anxiety. I have to say that my change hasn't happened from one day to the next. In fact, I keep working on it since controlling emotions is not an easy job. My parents always told me, don't cry over those things, they are not important. Important would be if a family member died. When I was 10 years old, I understood this phrase, but I wasn't capable of changing. Among others, this was because of my maturity. The difference of age between my brothers and I are 7 and 5 years, and our point of view are very different. They often don't remember that I'm 16 years old and want to make me a more mature person. This frustrates me, but what can I do? In the end, my maturity grows faster than it could grow. They are the first ones I turn to when I'm down, and they always give me good advice. My traditions have made me appreciate what unites me with my family, such as picking eggs on Easter Sunday. My brothers and I didn't have the same amount of eggs, but in the end, we always shared them equally. Flamenco. At first, my mother's family and we always met up together and had a good time. My aunt taught us how to play the castanets, and our mothers taught us how to dance, sharing their knowledge in such a beautiful way, which is bringing up people who share the same tastes. My religion is very important. Since I was a child, I have been religious, but when I go to Mass, I didn't pray and just got bored. Now, when I go to Mass, I pray for the well-being and happiness of the people who I love and for myself. And thanks to that, I keep in mind every day who those people are who I would fight for. I have to say that my brothers, traditions, flamenco, and religion are very important, but none of this would be possible without my parents. They are the ones that have given me many concepts. Always be who I am. I think that's what people like most about me. I am who I am. I have no filters. If you show somebody that you're not, you're doing wrong. Don't be afraid when making friends, because they are with you every day. And of course, never fight with my brothers, because they are going to be with me during all my life. I thank my parents for having given me so many concepts that made me who I am. I am very proud of being who I am, and as I said, I still have many time to change. And I think that keeping all these things in mind is a good boost to get what I want. By realizing all these things, you end up learning that if you do poorly on an exam, don't worry, there are many exams per subject and not everything can be well done. As for friendships, if you surround yourself with people who don't fight for you, don't worry, there are 7.8 billion of people in the world. There will be somebody who cares about you. I hope I help those people that feel insecure or are afraid to do something because they are fear of being successful. Thank you.
You know, before I usually present somebody and let somebody know who's coming up, I usually introduce them, and I'm sorry, I forgot to introduce Miss Laura Medmans properly. Because if you don't know Miss Laura Medmans, she is what I call a ray of sunshine. I had the pleasure of teaching her two older brothers. I connected more with her other brother, Raul. And I knew since then that Laura was a great person, just because I knew the brothers already. But to be honest with you, knowing Laura is honestly, it's like sunshine. And the fact that she continues to grow and blossom into the woman that she's becoming, I am very happy to say I know Miss Laura Medmans. Now, our next presenter, this presentation was a challenge in itself. And for her to actually echo the words that she is going to present right now. This next person is a person that I admire because she really had to dig deep for her courage to this presentation. So, please welcome to the stage Miss Enina Franco.
To attain Personal success, it has to be based on the things that bring you joy. So now that you know what your own success is, ask yourself these questions. What's stopping you? Are you too tired? Didn't get enough sleep? Don't have enough money? Don't have enough time? Is that what's stopping you right now? Or the thing that's actually stopping you is you. Recognize that the excuses are not valid. They're conjured up, they're fabricated, and they're lies. And how do you stop the lies? You stop the lies with the truth. And the truth is that you have time, you have the skill, you have the knowledge, the support, the willpower, and the discipline to get it done. So go out and get it done. Don't listen to that little voice that's telling you to stop. You need to go out and get things done. So go out and get things done. What do you want to be in life? Stop waiting life to be easy. Do you know why we create excuses? We create excuses because we are afraid of not being able to get things done. We are afraid of failing. But don't be afraid of failing, because there's nothing wrong in failing. And if you lose, it's okay. Nothing wrong with it. At least you've tried. Because you don't learn from winning, you learn from losing. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. What do I mean with this? It means if you don't try, because you're afraid of failing, you already failed. But if you try, you have some possibilities. But if you don't try, you are closing all the doors of success to yourself. All of them. Because nobody ever went uphill by accident. It has to be intentional. It's easy to say, come on man, we'll keep going. It's easy, very easy. But what's hard is going and saying, yesterday I got nothing from working at I'm going to do the same thing I did today, but I'm going to try even harder. That's the hardest thing. To get up every single day and give your 100%, and not getting nothing from that. And usually that nothing you got from your 100% are the things which make you give up. But the people who keep going and keep going after not getting nothing from their 100% are usually the ones who achieve the best. I dare you to work on yourself for 6 months. I dare you to shut out all the distractions, to give up on everything that's keeping you away from the dream. Write down what you need to do and be brave enough to do those things. I would say that my keys to success are belief, work, and discipline. You believe you can do something, you get it. You know, last summer, I had a friend who used to hate running. But one day she came to me and said, do you want to go out running with me on summer vacations? And of course, I told her yes, because if you know me, I love running. And we did it. She believed she could do it. And that was the first step. Then comes work. You work for your goal, you get it. Don't tell me it's hard to keep going. I know. But what I also know, it's even all the hard work, you have to keep running. You have to keep going. They don't stop, or just a bit more. It was a mantra. But keep going, it has to be your mantra. Then comes discipline. Will you have the discipline every single day to do the things you should do, even when you don't want to? Of course. But if you have the discipline every single day to do those things, I'm sure no matter what, you will get your goals. And I can prove it. Every single day on vacations, we did it. We went running at 6 a.m. We transformed it into a habit. It was part of our day. You have to transform all those small steps towards your goal into small essential things in your daily life. Focus on the achievements, not on the pain. Believing just takes a bit of your time to convince yourself you can do something. Working, the simple part. Problem is discipline. Will you have the discipline every single day to do the things you should do even when you don't want to? No. Excuses come up and you end up quitting. And that's what happens to 95% of the people's brain. But do you want to be that 5% of the people who have the discipline? After not getting nothing from the 100%, but they keep going. And they will get their goals. The greatest version of you is the I can do anything version of you. No. The greatest version of you is the disciplined version of you. That's your greatest version. The version that has parameters. I don't do that. I don't drink that. I don't go there with these people. That's your greatest version. You're focused no matter how much they will criticize you. That's your greatest version. If you are focused and you have parameters, you will get your goals. I'm sure. You think you become a champion when people see you. You don't. You become a champion when you're alone. When you're working on yourself. Nobody's seeing you. You're alone. In this world, there are two types of persons. The dreamers and the realists. Dreamers are often the ones who are prepared to try to get their goals. And realists are often just dreamers who got their hearts broken along the way to a dream. Please, don't be a dreamer. Don't be a realist. Be a creator, a believer. You have a great life in front of you. But you will have a greater life if you don't quit. You knew that. You knew it. So why do you keep quitting? Why? Don't complain about the things you didn't get from the work you didn't put in. If you change your mindset, you will change your life. And when this stop, I would like to tell you a simple truth. You will never have today again. Thank you for your attention.
All right. So, if you're not ready to get up and run after that speech, we need to work on you. Thank you very much, Enina. Now, our next presenter. This is a guy that, to be honest with you, every time we talk, every time he says something, he surprises me. He's like a transformer more than meets the eyes. All right. So I definitely want to present our next presenter. Sorry for the redundancy, Mr. Alejandro Groman.
Most of the people here have thought at least once about how we can be more successful or how we can be more disciplined. And I think I have some of the answer to this question. One of them, I concluded this quiz last year that if you take the biggest problem of society nowadays out of your life, you will be very successful. And ladies and gentlemen, the biggest problem of nowadays is social media. Everyone knows it. There are 5 billion users on that platforms, such as TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, all that stuff. I concluded this answer 3 years ago, when I was 12 years old. At that moment, I was between 2 to 3 hours per day watching videos, like most of the people here, addictive. One day, I decided to watch a video titled 30 days no social media. I really liked the idea, so I accepted the challenge and I tried it. So the first 2 weeks of the challenge, I was bored because all the hours I was spending on social media needed to spend to other things. So it was like extra hours in a day. And the third and last week of the challenge, I spent my time better to things that really matters. For example, with my family, with my friends, to achieve my goals, and the most important one, to myself. When I finished the challenge, I spoke to my parents about it. And they said that changed a lot. That I was like another person. I was more kind, more responsible, and I was more time with them. So after that, I decided to take it mostly out of my life. There is a fact that surprised me and motivated me to take it out of my life. And it is the time we spend on it. So the average of young people in Spain is between 3 hours. And if I do the math, 3 hours in a day means 21 hours in a week, more than 900 hours in a year. And if we start after 12 years to our 80s with our mobile phones, if we are going to keep this habit, we are going to be more than 68,000 hours in our lifetime. That is more than 7 years. Imagine that, 7 years without stopping, day and night, watching videos, looking at memes, looking at perfect lives of other people. Why don't spend all the years to things that really matters? Your family, with your friends, to achieve your goals, to learn a new language, to learn a new sport. And what helped me the most these 3 last year? To know myself better and understanding who I am. So here is the first step to success. Minimize social media use. Maybe you are wondering why social media is so addictive. And for this, I'm going to present you dopamine. I'm going to repeat, dopamine. Maybe you know what it is, maybe it's not, or rings a bell. Doesn't matter, I'm going to explain it. It is a chemical substance that interacts in our happiness, satisfaction, and rewards. If you didn't understand it, don't worry. I'm going to put you in a situation. Imagine, you see on a desk, at this side, you see a chocolate bar and your mobile phone. At the other part, you see a book and an apple. What are you going to choose to spend the time and to eat? Most of the people are going to choose the chocolate bar and the mobile phone because our brains know that this part of more satisfaction and dopamine than the other side. And this happens with a lot of stuff. For example, instead of drinking water, we drink Coca-Cola of alcohol, or we smoke, or we play video games. Even though you know it's bad for your health or you're not going to get benefits about it, your little voice of your head will tell you to grab the fast satisfaction. Here, I teach you the second part of success. We can see there are 2 types of habits. A type 1 habit, which hard that gives you satisfaction immediately in this moment and doesn't have benefits like eating a chocolate bar. Or this side, type 2, which gives you satisfaction in a long term but in a lower amount but does have benefits. So if you are the person that you want to achieve your goals, sorry, but you will need to choose the apple and the book, and you will need to reduce some of your type 1 habits from your lifetime. If you want to be successful, but you don't know your habit, or you don't know your goals, here I teach you the third part to success. This part will help you to know what you want in life and what you want about yourself. In my case, 2 years ago, I started in a performing arts school. It means I learned to act, to dance, and to sing, because it's based on preparing us to musicals. One day, in dance class, the teacher said that we needed to stretch, to upper legs, and to touch the ground. But that moment, I couldn't even reach my knees. I was like most of the boys here, like this. I couldn't even more. At that moment, I looked around me, and I saw the rest of the people touching the ground and upper legs. I felt like a loser at that moment, but I knew my goal. And my goal was to touch the ground and upper legs. Now I needed to find a habit that will help me to reach it. And what I found, the habit what I found was stretching, and stretching. So I stretched for more than a year, and now I can touch the ground and open my legs. So here is the first step, to know your goal. And for this, I propose you to stand in front of the mirror. Look at yourself. What do you see? Do you like what you see? Look at your eyes. Scan yourself. In this moment, you need to be hard and realistic, and don't put excuses. If you see in the mirror an overweight person, you need to say that you're overweight. If you see a person that don't have great marks in school, you need to say you're dumb or you're lazy. Don't put excuses. You need to see the reality. Once you know the thing that you want to change, we need to find a habit that will help you to reach it. For example, you're too fat or you are too skinny. You want to change your body. The habits that could help you to reach it could be like doing exercise, going to the gym, going for a run, or being on a diet. All these habits will help you to reach it. So, to sum up, the first step, minimize social media use. This will help you to have more time to things that really matters, family, friends, and to achieve your goals. Second part, choose type 2 habits. This will improve your success and discipline. And the third part, the reality about you. This will help you to know what you want in life and what you want about yourself. Thanks to this method, I've been able to achieve some of my goals. For example, run a half marathon, or to improve my physique and to achieve the split. So, I'm going to ask you, do you want to achieve your goals?
So far we've seen 3 great presentations that have helped somebody out there with what they have been said. Believe me, traditions are very important. Giving 100% of yourself is very important. Knowing where you want to go is extremely important. And I believe that this next presentation will summarize all of these great qualities, all of these habits, or what I call keys to success. Our next presenter is a person who I actually admire, because when I seen her grow, because when I used to monitor the bus when she was before secondary, and to where she is now, she's become an awesome person, somebody that I actually like talking with, somebody that continues to impress me how she overcomes her challenges. The next person, please welcome Miss Gman Pastor.
What is success? The first thing I realized was that I have spent a lifetime claiming something that I didn't know what it was. I just wanted to be successful, like everyone else, but we never considered what we need to read, to discover what those 7 letters mean and why everyone wants them. Sometimes, by not stopping to think about it, we waste our lives chasing nothing and hoping that it suddenly becomes everything. Hello, my name is Gman Pastor del SAT, and although I'm only 15 years old, I can say that I know what success means for me. I will lie to you though, I haven't reached it yet. If there is one thing clear to me, when I first start to wonder how to be successful, is that it will never depend on others. Being accepted by everyone, regardless of whether that person laughed at you 2 days ago, or was the person who broke you into 1,000 pieces, is not my goal. And how do I know this? Because throughout my life, I tried to please everyone. I lost the shine they say I had that I barely remember. I lost enthusiasm for the things I was passionate about, just because in the eyes of others were useless, ridiculous. And I remember how my mother always told me, you won't be happy if you continue to focus on what others like or think is good. And I thought she had no idea what she was talking about. She couldn't know what problem children my age were. She was too old. Now, I regret it, and I wish I have listened to you, Mom. But the truth is that there is not going back. And now I realized that I have lost part of the most beautiful stages of my life for people who didn't deserve it. And that life happens. There is no other life to rectify, not to put into practice what you have learned. Life is a time limit exam. And right at that moment, I realized I must start living my life and stop surviving. And I will make mistakes, I will mess it up, but I will also learn. I have decided that I'm going to change. And I owe all this to teacher Alex, who made me realize that life is not about wishing for success to magically arrive.
You have to work on it every day, polish it, so that when it comes, it's something that truly fulfills us, makes us feel proud, but above all, makes us happy. I know that for my success, I want to become a person that I'm proud of. I want to bring out the best version of myself, work on myself, improve myself, break limits, so that they only exist because I believe in them. I create them. I would like to one day be in a pavilion full of people who cheer my name, who hope to see me and become the best volleyball player. And it's something difficult, risky of course, but I want to do it. And not to prove everyone that I could, but to show me that I never let them take this away from me. What fills me, what makes me feel alive. But I know I won't be able to if I don't trust myself, if I don't give everything to be better every day, to transmit what I have to people. That's why I want to start here, today, now. Transmit it what I know, what I feel, and who I am to all of you. And to be able to show me that the change begins now. I would like to one day see this. Remember this very moment, and how a few months ago, I almost said not to Alex when he proposed to his presentation, and say, it was worth it. I've come as far as I dream of. I have achieved what I set out to do. Because although today I'm only facing a fear, I know that I'm closer to becoming who I dream of. And by this time, many of you will be wondering how this can help us. Well, I will tell you a secret that very few know. From the moment we are born, we prepare for something, to enter the university of our dreams or get a great job. That's why we are tough. That's the rule. Study, pass, advance. From the outside, we all look the same, swimming in a sea where everyone follows the same current, but expects to have a different result. That's stupid, right? I mean, impossible. We believe that life has some guide, some steps to follow, and if you don't follow them, you will fail, you will sink. But it doesn't have them. They are created by us, idealized. We look up to them, hoping that they will lead us to absolute success. But it will never happen. You know why? I understood this when I realized that for me, life is like volleyball. Train, improve, continue. You are the one who decides where do you want to stop. Do you want to break the monotony, risk everything, be the best? Go. But it's not going to be easy. You are going to fall more than you are going to get up. You are going to want to give up. Stop trying. Exactly like during a match. You are in the last set, 2 points away from finishing. Your mind tells you you won't make it. Your body can't take it anymore. But you never retire without having finished. And even if you don't win that game, you will have learned. As Kobe Bryant said, defeat is as exciting as victory, because both makes us go back in time and see how we could have made that game the best. And like in all of the sports, there is a captain, right? A leader. He knows how to understand the group, make it grow, improve, advance. The question here is, who do you want to be? Do you want to be the captain, or do you want to be sitting on the bench for fear of not being enough, of failing? Is that what you want? You don't always win, but you never give up. And it's easy to say, it's easy to hear, but the hard part is looking at yourself in the mirror and say, I won't give up. I won't give up. That's the hardest part. But someday you will realize that all the days you didn't give up were worth it. That if you really want it, no matter how much it costs, you will do it. No matter how afraid you are, you will do it. No matter how much it hurts, you will do it. Because love for something is the most dangerous thing that can exist. But also is what makes us face fear, destroy limits, stand on the edge of a cliff and think that jumping is an option, although it's not. And although we don't know what awaits us along this path, I can help you to get started. How? With my 3 keys. First, you have to work. And there will be days where you can give it your all. Maybe because you are tired, busy, sore, exhausted, or you simply don't want to do it. But discipline, courage, and perseverance are the values that will distinguish us from the rest, that will create an ambitious person who fights, who cries, who grows, who continues. Also, you will have to lag behind. And what do I mean with this? Well, you will find people that leave when you need them, or that try to turn you off when you shine, and you will have to leave behind those people. And it will hurt, Of course, consideration the person you trust, not who you thought, hurts. But there is only one life, one chance. It's not worth it to letting it go for those who wouldn't do the same for you. Finally, value your path. I believe that life before 18 is a training to start a long race where you can stop, rest, and recover stronger. Because no one guarantees that you will always be on the top. You have to value your path, learn from it, and not be ashamed of who you were. Because many times, and I include myself, we make the mistake of forgetting everything it took to get there. All the nights crying, the bridges from falling to the ground, the soreness, the injuries, the sweat you left on the floor. But it's what makes us humans. We cannot forget that. To finish, I want to thank. Because although my success depends on me, I'm happy to be surrounded by people who encourage me to keep going, who support me every day. Thanks, Mom, Dad, friends, sisters, and the person who I can share my life with. And I could not end without personally thanking Mariano, because he's my volleyball coach and the one who has given me the courage to be here today. He has taught me discipline and has shown me perseverance. Now, I know what I want and how to achieve it. The question is, will I wait until tomorrow? Of course not. And you?
So we are now coming down to the end of the first half of this presentation, but obviously I couldn't let you go without a little bit more music. So please welcome to the piano Miss Cristina Marquez.
So, good morning. Today I'll be playing a song that is really meaningful to me. I started playing this song a couple of years ago, but when I finished learning it, I just stopped playing it. So this year I decided to start relearning it, and I think I had forgotten how beautiful this piece actually is. So I hope you enjoy listening to it as much as I enjoy playing it. Thank you.
So, with that, we have concluded the first half of this presentation. We will be back in about 35 minutes to start with our second part of the presentation. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Antonio Martin.
Afternoon, I am Antonio and I'm going to perform a piece from Federico Monpou. He was a Spanish pianist who aspired to create music with a poetic and profound essence. This piece, the Prelude number 8, has 4 voices singing and dancing together that stands out a clear melody. And I really like it because it has deep emotions that are very satisfying. So I trust you will like it.
Well, welcome everybody back from break. I hope everybody enjoyed your breaks. And now I have the pleasure of presenting somebody. Words cannot describe this person. When I first started working here about 8 years ago and they threw me into a Cambridge class to teach, her and her two friends, Nora and Alicia, were already smarter than me. And this girl, I was sitting there in the class trying to teach them English, and I'm thinking, there's nothing I can teach these girls already. And this is when they were in primary. Fast forward to last year, this student received top honors and gave the speech. And I knew I needed to have her as a speaker. This next presenter, I learned from her. And I guess that's another message for you guys, because we never stop learning. Please welcome Miss Alejandra Carmona.
Hello, my name is Alejandra and I feel worthless all the time. Also, I could spend my days crying, but I can't because I have to keep on with my life and that kind of things. So, how is a girl with these characteristics going to give a speech on something that can help improve some aspects of your life? Honestly, I don't have any idea, as I don't believe I have anything to offer. So instead, I would talk about one of the things I love the most, in hope it makes you learn some of the things I learned. This is rugby. I'm a rugby player, and I have played this sport for 3 years, and it has been one of the best things of my life. But first things first, I hope most of you have heard of rugby anytime within your lives, but has any of you ever seen a rugby match? Please raise your hands if you have. Okay, I see a few people. But let's go through the basic rules about it first. The goal of this sport is to take the ball, which has an oval shape, to the try line, where you get 5 points for each try. You carry the ball with your hands, and it can only be passed backwards. To avoid that your team scores, you must tackle them, throwing yourself against them. I can guarantee you that it is practically impossible to score a try without the help of your teammates. So this isn't like football where most of the job is done by the little star. I'm sorry, but I'm a football hater. In rugby, there is no such thing as the star of the team, as everyone is important. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. African proverb. This quote must be familiar to you, and it is exactly what rugby teaches you. You're most likely never going to reach your goals without the help of others, like your family, friends, teachers, coaches. So you'd better be well surrounded throughout your life with those people that fulfill you, make you want to be a better person, keep trying, make you learn, and you will probably get very far and score a try. If you saw me walking down the street, will I come over to you as a rugby player? Raise your hands if you think so. Nobody, right? Do I even look as if I performed any kind of sport? Probably not, but all that glitters is not gold. William Shakespeare. You must never judge a book by its cover, as you don't know how much it has to offer. On the other hand, there's this rugby player from the South African team, the team which was the world champion this year, by the way, who is almost the same height as me, quite small for their category. What I mean by this, also, he's one of the best players in the world right now. He will be known in rugby history as a legend. What I mean by this is that you are as valuable as any other person within your team. Doesn't matter if you're short, tall, skinny, fast, slow, fast. So, I am fond of pigs. Dogs look up to us. Cats look down on us. Pigs treat us as equals. Winston Churchill. In this society, not only in rugby, you are as important as any other person without taking into account your physical or mental characteristics. so you are able to perform as greatly as any other person if you put all your efforts into it. Which brings me to my next point. Do you know this type of matches in which both of the teams are more or less of the same level, so it is quite tight? In the end, the team that wins is the one that doesn't lower their head, because talent is nothing without persistence. Dean Crawford. Your team or yourself may be as talented as no one, but if you're not constant, it's like as if you didn't have the talent. And don't think it won't be rewarded, because all efforts are compensated with results. Since I entered Bachillerato, my tutor, Maria de la Vega, has always told us that it is a long-distance run. It isn't about the one who starts better, it is about the one who finished better than anyone. As I mentioned previously, my self-esteem shines because of its absence. And you may ask yourselves, why do you keep trying? Does it really matter? Yes. Because I may not have self-esteem, I have goals, and I do not limit myself on the things I can and cannot achieve due to my conditions. What really bothers me about some people is the lack of ambition. How can you wake up in the morning and not desire to be the best version of yourself? I may be this low right now, but by achieving all my objectives, I will be this high. Mother dear, one day I'm going to turn the world upside down. Martin Luther King Jr. You must never limit yourself nor your dreams. Precisely, they are dreams. So dream high and don't set yourself boundaries, because they are non-existent. If anyone ever tells you, oh, you will never be able to achieve that, prove them wrong. Your ambition must never be in a cage. Finally, let's talk about the end of a rugby match, where the winning team will make a guard of honor while applauding to the losing team. This is a sign of respect after a hard match. Moreover, the local team will collect money to prepare a meal for them and the visiting team. This is called a third time, where both of the teams will apologize for those high tackles or injuring your teammates. It is the best part of the match, as you're given food and you develop friendships within opposite teams. It is quite of a paradox, isn't it, as if it's just ended hitting yourself against the people you're now kindly getting to know better. I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. Maya Angelou. Being kind and respectful is the key. Why not give a good morning with a smile each day? Or explaining instead of yelling? Or offering your help when possible? Why do we need to be harsh when we know we're making people around us feel unworthy? From my personal experience, it isn't a pleasant feeling. To conclude, if you work really hard and you are kind, amazing things will happen. Thank you everyone for listening. I hope I made you learn something and maybe even encourage you to try rugby.
If you don't know, I'm a little bit particular to that speech also because I played rugby and I do believe it's one of the greatest sports ever. But nonetheless, we must move on. And one of the things that I would like to move on to is our next presenter. You know, they say when you travel with somebody, you really get to learn who they are and where they're from. And one of the lucky things that I had was, even though I've been working together with my colleague for quite a while now, I got to learn more about her when we went to traveling to London last year. And it was an amazing trip, but not only did I enjoy the trip itself, because it was my first time in London, but I got to learn about my colleague. And I found out we actually have a lot more in common that I knew. We have some differences always, as we all do, but this person, we have a lot more things in common than I ever imagined. So please welcome to the stage Miss Joanna Muka.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you, Alex, for the invite. Well, I'm not going to lecture you on English language today. Don't worry about that. Well, I'm going to talk about the hunger. So, a simple question, apparently. What is the hunger for you? Any idea? Yeah, I know, Hunger Games. I knew you were going to say that. Well, is that the rambling noise in your stomach when it's almost lunchtime? Yeah? Yeah. Today I'm going to share with you some anecdotes of my hungry moments from my life. It all began with an innocent craving for an ice cream at the age of 7. I had a sweet tooth like any other kid, and that needed satisfying. But that was a little problem, you know. My mom wouldn't give me any money. We didn't have that. So I have this vivid memory of myself dragging this big green notebook after my piano lesson and plopping down in front of an ice cream shop, and I would look at people indulging themselves in the creamy delights. As I was sitting there, I would imagine the flavor of every scoop of it. Well, but what happened? That I couldn't have it. So as I was sitting there, I realized that the hunger wasn't for ice cream itself, but something else. Something bigger that drove me beyond my basic needs, that something more relevant, the hunger for money. I understood that if I had a lot of money, I could buy any ice cream I wanted. So sometime later, following my mom's advice, I actually realized that my passion for music could bring me some benefits. So I decided to take up the ballroom dancing. Yeah. So it is a sport like any other. So I decided that I'm going to dance professionally and then make money out of it, make benefits. I had a talent for that, so I poured all my heart and soul in my training. I would perform and I would perfection every single move. And I would endure blisters and exhaustions. But do you know what? It actually paid off. At the age of 17, I won many cross-country contests, and eventually I managed to have some money and gain some money for my whims, for my bills, to pay my bills. But all my dreams came to an end when my dancing partner decided to pursue his career in medicine. And then I realized that a new hunger began to stir within me. The hunger for adventure and recognition. And that actually took hold of me at the age of 20 when I made a bold decision to move to Spain. It was there that I realized the value of my language skills and the opportunity they presented. So before I knew, I was offered a position as expert assistant and then agent to Eastern countries and then the manager. And all this position involved extensive travel, immersion in new cultures, as well as negotiating with clients. So one day, I vividly remember when I was negotiating with a client from India that I encountered a communication barrier. So those who travel to India already know that, Indian nod their heads in a very particular way. So first, they wobble like that, really fast. Sometimes, really slow. And then sometimes they tilt their head to the right, and sometimes to the left. So I didn't know what was going on. I thought that this client would say no to everything what I would offer. But actually, it wasn't. I was wrong. So later on, I learned that wobbling meant both acknowledging and agreement. And that stemmed from Indians' deep respect towards elders. It's not what that I was all at that time, but this person didn't know me. So he would be really respectful. He wouldn't say no to me. Well, all my negotiating took a right turn, and and it was very good. But I came up with very valuable lesson that my hunger for adventure recognition must be rooted in powerful capacity to adapt myself. So embracing diversity without any prejudices and being able to adapt yourself to different and challenging circumstances are essential skills in our interconnected world. So, notwithstanding, despite achieving all that recognition, I couldn't shake off the feeling that my true calling lay somewhere else for me. And it was during my time in Oxford, working as a business development manager for different colleges, that I felt that a new hunger began to stir within me. The hunger for knowledge and intellectual purpose. I was surrounded by intellectuals and scholars, and I felt that was my momentum to pursue my sincere interest in literature, in history, and but that was a problem because for that I needed to return to university. But at the age of 42, I made another bold decision. I decided to enroll to university. So despite my age, I had total blast. I was surrounded by students your age, so we had a small group. We would do projects together, we would hang out together, we would have a fantastic time full of laughter and joy. But amidst all that exciting student's life, I understood that a new hunger began to stir within me. The hunger for purpose. So I had that burning desire to share everything what I've learned so far, to teach others, to inspire others. And that was a moment of epiphany. I knew I just needed a student. And he came to my life, my son Noah. He was my first student before you. Yeah, before you. So I recall in the third year of university, I had a big belly that I couldn't feed it in the student bench. I had to sit sideways, actually. But I wanted to stay there. I wouldn't miss any single lecture at all. So, eventually my peers were very worried about me, but I ended up doing very well. I was even offered Erasmus scholarship to Portsmouth University. So I thought, oh my God, it's an amazing opportunity for me. So with my 8th-month son under my arm, we adventured towards Portsmouth in the UK. And I learned there many different things. How to articulate myself properly, how to do research in a proper way, how to actually write in a proper way. So it was a wonderful time, but ultimately it was my son who became the focus of my dreams. It was my reason to get up in the morning and chase my dreams. We were absolutely inseparable, like two peas in a pod. We even caught a chicken pox at the same time. But do you know what else we shared? Guess what? Love for ice cream. All right? So, here I am trying to convey one single message, that first, it's never too late for anything in your life. And secondly, at any stage in your life, you are going to experience different types of hungers. They are very different and yet unique and very much interconnected. So I truly believe that these hungers drive individuals to pursue their dreams and aspirations. So acknowledging them can actually help you to understand better who you are and what motivates you to pursue your goals. Thank you. I hope that helps. Thank you.
So now I'm going to play a piece from Sergei Rachmaninoff. He was a famous pianist of Russia, and she composed music for orchestra and piano. And this piece, in this piece, the Valse number 2, it is surprising how it can evoke so many emotions, all of them special. So, for me also, the experiences cannot be described. So, I hope your heart is filled with passion, just like mine during my representation. Thank you.
far, we've had a lot of great presenters from different ages, different groups, from different walks of life. And what I realized when I do these presentations is there's not one real formula for what is success. It's the question I've been asking myself all year. It seems like every year I have a different question that conjures up into my head when I start talking about, what I'm going to do this year, even though the baseline is always the same, how to make you guys better. I'm always trying to figure out something. One year was trying to find out my why. Why am I doing this? Why does this make me feel so good? Why does teaching light a fire inside of me? Another time is what motivates you guys. For those that are in fourth of SO, I have a son that is your age. And sometimes I see some things in you guys that are the same thing as my son. So I wonder what motivates you guys because, how do I get my son to do his homework? How do I get my son to clean his room without me having to tell him? The answer is there's no way. He doesn't clean his room. Nonetheless, the motivation thing is very tricky. And I've been trying to figure out how to make that happen, how to motivate you and everybody around me to be their best. So then this year I've been trying to come up with a formula, because nowadays when you get into Instagram or you get into TikTok, when you look at your YouTube videos and things of that nature, you see all the keywords, the buzzwords. Michael Jordan failed how many shots and he's still considered to be the GOAT. You can't succeed without failing. You need discipline. You need motivation. No motivation is motivation. There's so many words, so many keywords, so many buzzwords that are flying that talks about motivation that it almost seems fake. But the truth is, we're all going in a direction. And the direction is forward. There's no such thing as going backwards unless somebody's come up with the time machine. But as of right now, even going backwards is going forward if you watch the Avengers. Nonetheless, I was on the train on Friday on my way to Madrid. And I was reflecting a lot because I was on my way to do one of the hardest challenges that I've ever encountered in my physical life. And I was looking out the window and I was just watching the mountains. The sun was coming down. And a couple of things came to me. And one of the things that I reflect upon the most was the people around me. I paid a little bit extra for the nicer seat on the train. And I looked to my right and my wife was with me. And she seemed a little bit more comfortable. And that's when I realized she is one of my purposes. Making her happy is one of my purposes. As I continued on this train, I kept thinking I left my kids behind and how I wish I could have taken them with me, but they had to go to school on Monday. I started thinking, how would it be if I go and I don't come back with my accomplishment? How can I look at them in the face? You guys came into my mind because I've been talking about this for a long time. I've talked about this actually since last school year. And what I'm talking about is running. I ran the Madrid Marathon this past Sunday. And it took me 5.5 hours to run this Madrid Marathon. 5.5 hours, 42 kilometers. And one of the other things that came into my mind is when I would tell them, hey, I'm running the marathon. I'm running the Madrid Marathon. I'm expecting people to be happy for me. But I also get what, are you crazy? And what I realized when I got to the starting line, there was 40,000 crazy people there. Think about that. Just at this race, there's 40,000 crazy people there. So one of our speakers said, Don't worry about what other people are saying. And if they want to say you're crazy, prove to them you are crazy. Because it's true. Nobody could stop you but you. Now, I'm still looking for that formula for to get that so-called success that everybody now knows that it's different for everybody. And I just couldn't come up with like a math. I love math, so I was looking for like, if you get this percentage of motivation minus this discipline times this work and persistence and consistency, you're going to get somewhere. And yes, you need all these things. You need to fail. You need to trip. You need to taste success, to want success. You need all these things. But while I was running, what kept coming and echoing into my mind and kept coming up over and over again was the people around me. And I'm talking about our circles. I'm talking about, first it starts with me, and then my family. And when I talk about my family, I'm talking, yes, my kids, my wife, my parents, my brothers, my sister, I only have one, my cousins, which I have 1,000. Then my friends. I have friends that I haven't seen in forever, and I've told you guys this before. I haven't seen them forever. And as much as we say social media is bad and everything, but in social media I got so many people telling me, congratulations, go on, you can do it. You know how good that felt? Now granted, what Alejandro Groman said is true. Too much social media is not a good thing. But if you use it correctly, it could be very powerful. And that's the way I felt, because I had all these people surrounding me. I'm looking at some of the teachers that are in here, that if it wasn't for the teachers that I work with, I would not enjoy this job. So lucky for me, as hard as it was, and I tell you, I'm not kidding you, in about kilometer 34, 35, when my muscles started to cramp up, and I started thinking, you know what, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make this, you guys came into my mind as well. And there was no way that I would have been able to finish this marathon without you guys. And I want to thank you for all the support you guys have been giving me so far. So we're going to continue with a little bit more surprises for you guys, and I hope you've enjoyed the presentation so far. This year I should have called this the NIT and music presentation. So without further delay, I want to present the trio. Marina, Cristina, and Antonio.
Okay, so first of all, I would like to thank Alex for giving me this opportunity to be playing here. For me, this is a big challenge, and continuing with the success speech, I would like to say for me this is very important and very challenging, because this is a very difficult piece for me, and I've been only 2 years playing this instrument. So for me, as I told, it's a beautiful challenge. I would like to do it good. So thank you for being here and for listening to me, and Alex also. Thank you.
So we got one more surprise for you guys. A little bit of change of pace in the music, which, believe me, all the music pieces that were played today were amazing. So thank you to all the musicians. You have no idea how much of a respect I have for musicians. But we have one more song for you guys to play, to hear, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Believe me, it was a nice bumpy road to get here. So an applause for Julian on the piano, Sophia on the vocals, Alexander on the guitar, Tilly on the backup guitar, and our teacher Joaquin keeping us all together, and the drums. you, everybody. That's a wrap. Have a good one. Go back to class.